Hi everyone, it's Lillian here and welcome to another creative crafting evening with me. It's Monday night and I'm getting my words all twisted already, so this is not a good sign. So hopefully things improve. So I don't know what it's like in your part of the world, but here we have had a spectacular September and it's actually coming to a close. So just while people are hopping online and that kind of thing, why don't you type in the comment section one of your favorite fall activities? Now, it might be anything from taking pictures of the leaves to walking to maybe it's an inside activity. What is one of your favorite fall activities? So as you're doing that, we will go down to my desktop. So let's see here. Make sure that we're getting everything going. And for some reason, it's going a little bit cockeyed, but we'll get it straight. There we go. I've got everything set a little higher so that I can use my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I think I've got it a little off out of this. Drinking pumpkin spice lattes. Oh, I have a friend who that's, I think, what she lives for. She absolutely loves them. So yes, I get that. It's not my thing. I keep thinking I'm going to like them, but I don't. So just a second here. I hit the wrong button, and that's not a good plan. So there we go. There we are. Now I can see your comments without having to look through the phone. And Facebook has changed things on me, so it's a little bit crazy. So here we go. All right, so few things to share. I see several of you watching. Hi everyone. I love how you all interact with each other. It is so neat. So just a few things to share, and this one I'm going to save till later. One is that my 12 weeks of Christmas starts on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. So it's only for my newsletter subscribers. So I, again, will put the link in the comment section of this video afterwards, but make sure that you are a newsletter subscriber. I've been designing some of the cards, and I kind of think you'll like them. I hope so anyway. So that begins on Wednesday, and I don't do past issues. So if you've missed that week, you've missed it. So do subscribe right away. And let's get on with the next thing. The next thing is Celebration is ending this week, September 30th. That is Thursday. That's the last day of Celebration. There are so many good things in here, and we've shared quite a few of them. The bedazzling paper is sold out, as is, I'll just borrow this and move it over, as is the sheep dies. They have sold out. The bedazzling paper, the sheep dies, and the other dies, the Summer Shadows dies, that's free with a $120 order. They told us right at the beginning it was only while supplies last. So those three items were only for a limited time. If they ran out, they ran out, and they did run out. But there are also some wonderful stamp sets in there, like the one I showed you last week, and different ones. But there's also wonderful paper. And so there is the 12 by 12 Peaceful Prints paper. So this is gorgeous. I'm actually stocking up on this one right here. And the other paper that is just great is the Beautifully Designed, because although it's black and white, which is beautiful on its own, you can color this and make it any color you want. So that is a perfect one. Oh, Diana's wondering where her latte is there, Judy. Haha, that's one of the the downsides of not meeting in person, right? You can't bring them for everybody. And another paper that's a favorite as well is Penguin Playmates. So this one has been hugely popular as well. So just a heads up, they're not going to be available after Thursday. So just be aware of that. And then I wanted to mention one thing about this. This stamp set I featured last week, and a lot of you really enjoyed it. But I wanted to share what I have seen since last week is some people have used this one here as like a fudgesicle or something like that, and just one of these for the stick. I've also seen this stamped once, twice, 3 times to form a pumpkin, and this for the stem. So the ideas are just floating around out there. So they're all kinds. So now let's see, what else did I want to talk about? 12-week paper pumpkin. Paper pumpkin is a kit that gets delivered right to your door, and this month's paper pumpkin is Christmas themed, and you must subscribe before October the 10th in order to get it. So make sure that that's happening for you. And I can't see what's happening, so I'm hoping you guys are on there. So although I can't see it, I can't see your comments today, sorry, other than on the phone. So if I don't catch it, I'm not being rude. So one of the die sets, the die set that's still available from Celebration is the Summer Shadows one. So I did the cutouts here. Now remember, this coordinates with the stamp set in the catalog, but it works well on its own too. Like, these are great. So I remember, a few weeks ago I showed you this treat holder. So I used the die cut there, and then it was like that. And this was the design of the treat holder is from I can't talk tonight. Demonstrator in, I think, Florida. Her name is Angie. Now I'm going to not get her last name right. Pyjas? P-Y-J-A-S. Anyway, Stamping with Amore. She does a lot of fun stuff. Now, this isn't a new type of idea, but this was different, but in using the tailored tags. And so I promised you I would show you how to make this. So that's what I'm going to do, but we're going to switch it up because I wanted to make something for the Thanksgiving table. So I played around a little bit, and many of you saw the notice last night on Facebook where I was asking what paper would you put with, I believe it was this one here. Would you use Blackberry Bliss or Rich Razzleberry? Now, the artists at Stampin' Up, they use both or either, but it was really neat to see your responses. So what it is that there is no hard and fast rule. It all is what is pleasing to your eye. I also found that when you added another color, if you added another layer, it changed how some of this looked and might have changed the decision. So let's get rid of some of that and bring in the pieces. Now, this little treat holder, you could switch it up and make it Halloween, Christmas, birthday, whatever. I'm going for Thanksgiving this time around, but it's easy to make it for any occasion or just because. So what you need first off is a piece of cardstock that is 3 by 7, and then you're going to score it at 3 and 4. So here and here. So with the long side at the top, you're going to score it at 3 and 4. So it's 3 by 7 scored at 3 and 4. And then we're going to use 2 pieces of designer paper. And the designer paper is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. Now, if you don't like the 7/8, make it 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. You've got creative license, right? So you can do whatever you want with that. And then we're going to take a couple of tags, and I'll explain about those in a minute. And then I've got a piece of, I only need 1 piece. I've got extras just in case. 1 piece of, that's what I wanted. one piece of paper that is 1/2 by 3 1/4. And then I have another little tag here. So let's start with this one right here. We're going to take this, fold it on the score lines, burnish those folds like that, and then this is your base. That's what the base is going to be. Now, you could leave your corners square or you could round them. It's totally up to you. I'm going to round mine, so I'm going to bring in my detailed trio punch and just round these 2 corners and these 2 corners. So there, we've got that done, and we'll get rid of those little pieces. Now these pieces of designer paper are going to go right on here, so I want to round 2 corners on each. So and they're square, so it doesn't matter which end I do. So those of you who voted for rich razzleberry with the paper, that's what I'm using tonight. I also designed a card for my 12 weeks of Christmas, and I changed it up a little bit. So there's something for everybody. There we go. I've got glue right beside me, so I reached for the one farthest away. Do you ever do that? There. So now I just want to make sure, because this is just a tiny little border. A few of you, I can hear you cringing with the tiny border, but remember, you can switch it up. And you actually don't even need to use the designer paper. You could stamp right on the cardstock if you wanted, or leave it plain. This is just a neat way of dressing it up a little bit. So now we've got it looking like that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fasten the tags onto here. This is a really simple project. So I cut the tags out using the, where did it go? Using the tailor-made tags, and I used the largest one. So I used this one. It could have been either, but this one was a little bit narrower so I could still see more designer paper. Yes, that designer paper is so beautiful. Now, this designer paper, I'm just going to back up. So thank you for mentioning it. This designer paper is so beautiful that it sold out, but it'll be back in stock October 4th or that week. So don't panic. It's going to be back around. So it is there. So what I used was this die right here. So I cut out 2 of the tags, and then to add a little bit of interest on this one here, I use the textile embossing folder. On here, I decided to use one that has leaves on it. So let me just show you what I did. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and there's a set of embossing folders in the annual catalog that's called Greenery. So it has just rows of leaves here, or it has these little vines here. And this is what I use. Now these are the narrow embossing folders, so that they will work in either the mini Stampin' Emboss machine or the big one. But we're going to use the big one tonight because it just happened to be handy. So I moved this around till I got it so where I thought, okay, I kind of like it that way. I've got a bit on the bottom and a bit more at the top. That makes me happy, I think. Now I need to run it through. Now remember, if you forget, there are instructions on here, and for regular embossing folders, that's what these are. You want just your plate, and then you want just your platform, and then just your plates. You don't want number 2 in there. You take that out, put the fold in first, and run it through. And then we'll get this out of the way. And when you open it up, you've got that just added little bit of interest. So all we need to do is glue it to the front and the back. So when you glue it, obviously you don't want glue up here. So I'm going to turn it over. This is just a little trick that works for me because I'm such a visual person. I want glue here, but I know I don't want to go past there. So I just rest it on there and aim for the middle. I'm just going to eyeball it like that. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. So this is just so I know not to go past. And like that. Now, I can hear some of you saying, what if we don't have the tailored tag dies? You can do almost anything. I'm just letting that glue set, so that's why I'm using this time to talk. This one is approximately 1 3/4 by, say, 4 inches. So you could use a rectangle, 1 3/4 by 4 inches, or you could cut a rectangle one at that size, and then if you have any of the tag topper punches, you could do that. So there's always a way around. So it doesn't have to be exactly the way I've done it. Now, let's see, all we need to do is put a ribbon through there, decorate the front, and we're done. Isn't that neat? So let's put that aside and decorate the front. Now, this one here, this is what I played with yesterday. So I made the tags on this one, Rich Razzleberry, and made the banner Cinnamon Cider. So on this one, because Cinnamon Cider is one of the coordinating colors, I decided to go with Cinnamon Cider here, and we're going to make the banner Rich Razzleberry. And I'm going to change the banner and the wreath up a little bit. On this one here, I just cut part of the wreath and part of the banner and made it go that way. On this one we're making today, we're going to use the whole wreath. So let's bring in the wreath. So I have cut it. Now when you cut it out, you've got this empty space, and that die has all the fun little things, so you don't want to make it go to waste. So I used the pumpkin and some leaves and everything I could fit in the middle, and I'm going to use them later so you can see that I've got them right here ready to go. So let's take this off and put that out of the way. Now, and so there's the center part that was there, and it's been well used, so I think that can go in the garbage. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it on here, and it's going to overhang a little bit, but that's okay. It's still going to look pretty on the table, right? Now, what did I use? I used the brushed metallics. So that's got it's the package. It's in the mini catalog. It's got brushed gold, copper, different tones of the golds and coppers like that. So let's just glue that down. And when you're gluing this down, you could either have used an adhesive sheet when you cut it out, or if you're like me and you sometimes forget, then use just a little dab of glue where it's a little bit thicker. Now I know that the banner's going to hold it on as well, and I want the leaves to be kind of free-flowing. So that'll hold it just perfectly. We'll move that out of the way now. And we'll put this on the front. There we go. So now we've got it that far. Now we need to make the banner. And so for the banner, where did I put the piece of paper for the banner? Oh, here it is. For the banner, it was 1 1/2 by 3 1/4. And then I took my banner's pick-a-punch, or you could just flag the ends freehand. And I flagged the 2 ends like this. And so we've got it looking like that. And now we're going to bring in the stamp that says grateful, and it comes from the Sparkle of the Season stamp set. So these two come as a bundle, and it's a fabulous bundle. It covers all kinds of occasions. So let's bring that in. Now it's photopolymer, so I like to put a cushion underneath, and we're going to do a little gold embossing on here. So I want to do this static, guard against static, and we'll ink this up. And here comes the challenge of getting it straight and somewhat centered. There we go. Like that. And that looks kind of neat already. But we're going to bring in the gold powder. I like to put my powder in a container. But you notice that the embossing powders come in groupings now, so that you get a selection. So I think there's the metallics and the basics, I think. I always put the lid back on because more than once I haven't, and I've suffered the consequences. So we'll go and bring this in, and we'll just heat this up and melt that powder, and we'll have this gorgeous rich color coming out. Switch ends so I don't burn my fingers. There we go. Now you might say, well, it's got all that white powder on. Well, you just wipe it off. I always say that's what my jeans are for, but actually I often usually have a little cloth here and just wipe the powder off. Just make sure that the embossing's cool so you don't smear it, and then you wipe it off, and then it's all good. All right, so let's build this here. So what I'm notorious, I really do love to have a little bend to my banners like that. And where shall we put it? Maybe about there. All right, so we're going to bring in, there we go. So on the parts that are going to be right down flat, I'm going to put a glue dot. But the part that is raised up so that it keeps that shape, I'm going to put some dimensionals. And I'm actually going to use my black dimensionals because all these colors are black. So, and I'm going to put not just one, but I'm going to put two. You love the colors, Fran? Yeah, so do I. They're just absolutely so rich and gorgeous. It just makes you happy, this paper. So now we've got it looking like that. And we've got all these little embellishments here. So why don't we bring in, I like to mix my metallics right now. So we could bring in one of these and put them there. So I will put a dimensional on the back of that. Let's see. Yep, that'll fit. And see all those little scraps? That pays off. There we go. And then something that I think has been a bit of a sleeper that people haven't noticed is the brushed metallic adhesive backed dots. So there's kind of a bronze, a copper, and a gold. Let me just see here if I've got a white surface to show them on. They are absolutely gorgeous. Pardon me. I have gone through a few packages of them, but I thought they would be perfect for what we're doing here tonight. So let's see, we'll put one here and one here, and we'll do one more, you know, the magic, although the pumpkin's the third. Maybe I'll stop there. Afterwards, I can decide if I want another one. And So now we've got this. Now we just have to tie it together and then put something in it, right? Okay, so how I'm going to tie it together is I'm going to bring in some of this Simply Elegant trim. This is from the annual catalog or the big catalog, and I'm going to use the gold. And then I'm going to bring in the shimmer ribbon. It's gold from the mini catalog. This is a nice soft ribbon, and I'm going to actually tie it just the way I did here. So I'm looping the ribbon through the holes. Like that. Now this ribbon frays beautifully if you like frayed ribbon. So you likely will have to trim it afterwards if you don't. So on this one, I tied a little bow because it's easier to tie bows when you're not on camera, right? And on this one, I'm going to tie a knot. So either way, it works, and I just wanted to show that to you, that it works just fine. And this gold and silver cord is gorgeous, but it is a little bit more of a challenge to tie than some of the ribbons. It does have a mind of its own. So there we go. And we'll bring in my ribbon scissors and trim this and this. And we've got that taken care of. So now we've got this one with the raspberry tag on the front, and this one with the cinnamon cider tag on the front. Which one, folks? Which one would you go for? All right, now let's talk about what fits in there. In here, I put 2 of these little mini arrow bars, and it would look so neat sitting on the dining room table at Thanksgiving, or we're at the point where who knows if we're going to be with anybody for Thanksgiving again or not, but maybe it would look really neat as a front porch pickup, a drop off or something like that, or a neighbor or a coworker or whatever. So what else could we put in here? Well, I brought a few things in. You can get individually wrapped cookies now, which is perfect for right now. The color orange, I think I would look for cookies with a different color or tuck it in, but those are actually fairly thick. So it's 1 inch wide right here. So they fit in. Tea bags would fit in. Judy, you like them both? Oh, perfect. Thank you. A couple of Ghirardelli chocolates fit in. And again, I should have gone and this is for Christmas types of treats, but you get the idea. Now, if it's too slippery, I would just use a glue dot to have to hold them in. Judy, so glad you're here. You're the one that I often think of because I know you make Thanksgiving treats for the table all the time, and that was my inspiration for this. But I have one more idea for this. So tea bags, chocolate, cookies. You could use the same tailored tags, and you could do a little series of tags, and then if the tags also dies, they come with the little reinforcers. So like this one here cuts out 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I do that, I actually put them on adhesive sheets. So I would take a little piece about this size, and I put an adhesive sheet on it, run it through the Stampin' Cut in a bus machine, and then it's ready just to go. So let's fasten one of those on. Then I don't have to worry about glue when it's time. Karen, I love your comment. You're wondering if they have us in their minds. There's so many more individually wrapped and stuff. I know. Well, if they do, I'm thankful that they do because we are taking advantage of it. So I'm getting that in position, and now I've just done the tag like that. Now let me bring in a piece of scrap paper and show you how I got the variegated leaf color on here. So we'll bring in the leaves, and I'm going to bring in Bumblebee ink, rich raspberry ink and cinnamon cider ink. Let's just move these out of the way so I have room for all these inks. Now I'm going to ink up my leaves with the lightest color. So that's the bumblebee. So now they are yellow. Then I am going to bring in a sponge dauber. This one's cinnamon cider. So I'm going to put some ink on that and just dab it in a couple of places. Then I'm going to bring in rich raspberry. Now you can wash these and reuse them, but gradually I have built up enough so I can have one for each color and not worry about washing. And then I'm going to dab this, and I wasn't paying attention where I dabbed the last ones, so who knows. And anyway, then I can just stamp, and you get all those different colors, and you can get some different impressions and have them going across like that. And you might say, well, where are you going with these tags, Lillian? Let me just do the ink pads up. I just wanted to show you how you can get variegated leaves. That's one method. So this is something else that could happen. I don't know, but when we sit down for Thanksgiving dinner, my husband likes to go around the table and ask what you're thankful for. But you could put a little booklet of these together and tuck it in here. And then whether people wanted to write it, as the cook, I prefer they not do it once dinner's on the table. It takes too long, but it could be afterwards or something like that. And you could, or they could just take it home and then write what they're thankful for. And I think right now with the way some of us are feeling, sometimes it's just good to stop and look at what we can be thankful for. And I was just thinking the other day, what have I learned through COVID? How have I grown? What's been good? And so you could make a whole little book of tags, and they could also fit in here. One more thing. If you needed this to be bigger, there's nobody stopping you from making it 4 inches or 5 inches or whatever, or narrower, or making the tag bigger. So that's a very simple little table treat, and I thought you might enjoy it. So let's have another look. So this was the one with the raspberry and only part of the wreath, and this is the full wreath. So there you go. So that's that. So let me just do a little show and tell, and then I have something else to share with you. So here is another card that I made using that same paper. So I used different sides of it, different pieces. I flagged it and did that. And I stamped the background using the gorgeous leaves as well. And then I also sponged some of the background. So I made it look a little grungy in the background, made my own designer paper, and then this is a great way of using scraps of designer paper. So that's hot off the presses. I borrowed that idea from somebody. I forget who. Let me just see. Stampin share, and then I just did this on the inside like that. And then I also use the music notes, which is in it's showing with Christmas ideas, but I thought this is perfect for anyone who enjoys music and just an encouragement, you're amazing kind of card. So there's another idea. And then I was so fortunate, I was gifted with this cute little box. So you can see that tons of work went into that. And then it looks like this, so you can actually carry it like that. But here's the neat part, watch. So it opens up, the flaps open up like that and like that. Isn't that fun? So this was Judy. Judy's on here tonight. Judy made this, and I was the happy recipient. And so she's been sharing with me how to make this. So maybe down the road, I might be showing you how to do this. So it is such a fun little card. I can't stop opening and shutting that. It is so cute. So that's some of my show and tell tonight. And then I wanted to share one more thing about this bundle right here. I am offering, let's see, there's some glare there. I'm offering a class with this bundle, and if you want the make and takes and the bundle with it, the deadline is the 29th. And the reason it's the 29th, because the bundle qualifies you for a celebration item. So if you want that component of it, you need to get that registration in right away. So I will put it so you can just click on it, but this is the link. And then you will see that I have other options as well. If you don't want the make and take, if you just want the handout and the video tutorial, we can do that too. But if you want the make and take, which includes the dies and the stamp set, the time is running out. So make sure to register for that right away. And let me just see, I think that is about it. So remember, if you're wanting to order from my online store, this is the link, and this is the hostess code right now. It's going to be changing shortly, so always check the Facebook page or the Facebook group to know what the hostess code is, the current one. And thank you so much for joining me, everyone, and it's just great to spend Monday evenings with you. Oh, I was going to share. World Card Making Day is coming on Saturday. So October the 2nd is World Card Making Day. Now, it always hits my husband's birthday, so he kind of trumps World Card Making Day. But we had a wonderful time last Saturday making cards all day long. And that was Christmas cards. And so many people said it was just what they needed. They hadn't made any cards for a while. They were just so thrilled to be making cards again. And so I encourage you to go and make some cards. And you might say, well, I miss making them with a friend. One of my clients, what she does is she FaceTimes with a friend. They both make cards. They make their own cards. And they just chat when they feel like it, and they don't when the other, but they interact, and it's the next best thing to crafting together. So there's an option for you. So maybe FaceTime with somebody and do it. Another good thing is to take a kit if you want. So those are some options. So again, thank you for joining with me. And thank you for liking and sharing. And if you're on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.